You should recognize the person in our next story. Peggy Weber was a longtime Catholic communications reporter and columnist. She finds her retirement very busy with family, especially spending time with her grandchildren. But her love for writing and sharing her faith journey continues. Nick Morganelli spent some time with her and has more now on Peggy's new book, Enough as You Are.
I like learning from people, and I just like people. I'll be, my daughter says, Mom, nobody talks on Amtrak. How did you come out of the train with these stories? I go, I don't know, people just tell me this.
You may recognize Peggy Weber as one of our own from Catholic Communications in years past. She has had a talent for journalism and writing all her life.
I've loved to write since I was a little girl. I've kept a journal since like 7th grade. I can remember when I was young, when my parents gave me, a senior year in high school, an electric typewriter, which was great because my fingers used to slip through the regular typewriter.
And now people are talking about her newest book released this month.
The book was great. It made me laugh, it made me cry. I really wish that I had had this book maybe 20 or 30 years ago, because I think it's a great book for anybody at any age, but especially young people. They need to know, especially in today in our society, that they are enough.
Enough as You Are, a simple title for the latest work from the author. And that title, it's enough as well. The idea for the book was God-inspired.
Ta-da! Okay. Tonight, as I say in the introduction of my book, I'm sitting in church on Good Friday, realizing that everyone's saying, the Lord died for us, the Lord loves us. And there's a tiny little bit of me that said, even me? Because there's always a part of us that doesn't feel like we're enough.
Last week, a few dozen people attended a reception at St. Elizabeth's in Ludlow. Peggy gave a short talk and used gift bags with an item inside as a visual that related to the chapters in her book.
And it talks about ideas like being holy enough and quiet enough and impressive enough and smart enough and all the things and good enough. And each chapter includes a saintly story about a saint who represents that character that I'm trying to project in the book.
She lived the book, okay? And there's no question in my mind. She lived the book, and that's why I want to read it. And that's why the book is going to mean so much to everybody. I really think this is terrific.
I call my book a big hug to everybody who reads it. And that sounds overly simplistic, but it is. It's just sort of like a reassurance. But I know that people have to come to an acceptance or an understanding of the love of God, and that makes all the difference as they approach their life.
My mom's book, Enough as You Are, is a really wonderful example of someone being really honest about their own struggles, their own spirituality, and a good place that you can get to when you allow yourself to feel loved by God and to be, or try to be, an example of that love for others in the world. I understand, as an adult, as a mom, how hard it is to feel like you're doing enough for everybody in your world. She writes about them and uses her own personal life and her examples to, I think, help people relate to these same struggles that we all go through.
Having a little fun on the swings with Cordelia, one of Peggy's grandchildren, and I'm learning why she is so inspired to spend more time with them.
We played games. I ate food. I like it when I snuggle with her.
I actually have played a lot of head, shoulders, knees, and toes and sung many songs at libraries. And I'm completely content baking, hanging out with my grandchildren. But I also am blessed that I love to write. I've retired 3 years, and since that time I went from 3 grandchildren, we now have 7 beautiful grandchildren. And I am overjoyed with all of them. There's Cordelia, then comes Killian in New Jersey, then Jerome, then my little Rose down in Virginia, then the twins, as we call them, they're born the same day, Dominic and Bridget, and then finally our James Henry, who was born in January. And I just love them all.
And her daughter, Carrie, will deliver another grandchild in the spring.
How high can I go?
You can go one more.
The kids adore her. Literally, my son will literally start cheering, just pumping his fist in the air, Grandma, Grandma, Grandma. So, when you get that kind of reception, I think, helps her feel like she's hopefully doing enough as a grandma, and she's doing more than enough.
They bring us so much joy. I'm blessed to have the opportunity to just spend some time with them. Just did like a lot of nothing together, and it's just, I think that's what matters the most, is just, you know, savoring the moments that you have with your family or with your loved ones or with anyone, and just appreciating it, just as you are, just enough, and just loving these children the way they are. You know, I do like, you know, special trips with the kids or doing fun things, but just snuggling or reading, or that's why the chapter Quiet Enough is very interesting, because we used to have to be quiet for an hour, and it was such a challenge for me.
If you haven't heard enough from this story, Peggy will begin signing books with a speaking tour locally in Longmeadow, South Hadley, and Springfield. I
just love sharing and talking about the message of this book, and I also love talking about how much I love God and how much we all should love each other.
Learning to be enough of a kid at heart from a special author and grandmother in Longmeadow. For Real to Real, I'm Nick Morganelli.
And we know Peggy is definitely enjoying her days with her grandchildren. If you would like a copy of Enough as You Are, we have a link at iobserve.org.